I am Monica and I am a research scholar and I am the TA for this NPTEL course on basic construction materials. And this is now we are at the week 12 level of the content of the course. So week 12 basically pertains to building a construction material called glass. So I will start the presentation now. I hope you are able to see the screen. NPTEL course on basic construction materials, and we have already actually now we are at the final stage of the course. Like, this is the last lecture of this particular course. So till now, what we have seen like the outline of the course is divided into two parts. Like from the first okay, so the outline of the course is divided into two parts. The part one pertains to the first 3 weeks content of the course. So in that, what we have seen is, like in the first part, like the for the first 3 weeks of the content, what we have seen is we have seen the structure of common materials and what are all the types of bonds included in the types of in different types of materials, and what are the mechanisms of damage and failures in materials, like how the material will fail, like will it be a brittle failure or will it be a ductile failure, or what is the ultimate strength, what is the toughness, all these mechanical properties, or like the mechanical properties and the damage and failure mechanisms in different materials. That is the first part. And from the second part onwards, like from the week 4 onwards, we have been introduced to different types of materials which are being used in construction, like cement, aggregate, sand, concrete, etc., like asphalt, different types of construction materials. And in this lecture, we'll be going to see this a particular construction material called glass. See, glass now, you like if you can observe the outside environment, mainly the office buildings, something like that, like IT buildings, you would have observed some glass buildings over there. Like, what is the purpose of the using glass as a construction material? Because it has some advantages, not only the advantages, some it will serve some of the purposes which we are intended to. Like, for suppose, uh, if you it is actually a flexible material. Glass is a flexible material because it can be molded into different shapes. It is a flexible building material, and the main purpose of choosing glass as a construction material is aesthetics. Aesthetic wise, the glass. Second, okay, aesthetic wise, the main purpose of choosing the glass as construction material is aesthetic. Like, see, aesthetic. Modern day glass is available in different colors. Modern day glass is available in different colors, style, and texture, any form or shape, and it is multifunctional. For suppose, if you are not going to use it as a building material, you can use it for some of the components of the building. For suppose, windows, glass doors, etc., you can use those. Even if you go for this glass windows or glass doors, and then also it will be an aesthetic purpose. So as an aesthetic purpose, you can use this flexible material as a building material. So, and it will be available in extensive colors and textures, and it can be available in any form, and as I said earlier, it can be multifunctional. Okay, and another important advantage of this particular construction material is it is a lighter structure. When you go for a glass construction, it would be a lighter structure because it will be only the weight of the glass will be only 1/10 of the weight of the traditional materials. For suppose, if you take concrete as a building construction material, when you compare this glass and concrete, glass will have lighter structure. Glass will have the lighter structure. So when glass will have the lighter structure, and another advantage is uh, like construction cost. See, if you consider the glass as a construction material, how it will be advantage, how the construction cost will come down, because when you go for glass as a construction material, it will require only lesser time than the concrete construction. So when the time gets reduced, the number of days the labor recruitment we have to do will be reduced, right? So in that way, construction will be faster. So when the construction is faster, the equipment or the manpower what we require will also be reduced. In that way, the construction cost will be reduced when you go for glass as a construction material. Okay, so that's what here it's mentioned here, dependency on skilled labor at site. So more factory made solutions, directly you will get a factory made output, like not like concrete. You need not do any mixing or something there. Directly from the factory you could get the final products where those products can be used in the site. Okay, and lower envelope thickness. See, the carpet area, when it comes to the carpet area of the construction, when for suppose for example, if you see concrete and glass when you use glass as a construction material, you can save the carpet area, like 4 to 6% of the carpet area can be saved. And the that is the another advantage of using glass as a construction material. Okay, and see, in architecture, how glass is used in architecture. Glass in architecture, how it can be used. See, glass in architecture can be used as, first thing is facades, another thing is construction. As a facade you can use, or in construction also you can use. What do you understand by this facades? Facades mean building penetrations like windows, ribbon sliding, or sliding doors, or cladding in facades like structural glazing. So in architectural point of view, you can go for two types, whether you can use it as a construction material, or you can use glass facades for this windows or sliding doors, etc. So this can be one thing. And in construction, glass as material for load bearing elements. See, here you are not going for any load bearing elements, these are only fittings, these are only the fittings in the building. But when you use it for construction, that means you are using glass as a material for load bearing elements. Load bearing elements such as canopies or skylights or roof, this is one type of load bearing element. Or partition walls, okay, partition walls, or for staircase you can use, or for beams and floors also you can use. When you use this hardened laminated glass, you can use it for beams and floors also. So if glass is used as a construction material, that means you are using the particular material as a load bearing element. Or you can use it as facades, just like fittings. Okay, like the surface treatments like chemically coated, screened or painted, laminated or printed. So these are the different types of surface treatments which can be used when you want to use it as facades. And when you look into the engineering properties of glass, and why we have considered this glass as a construction material, uh, you can get an overview from studying the engineering properties of the glass. What are the main important engineering properties of the glass which made it as a feasible construction material? Or transparency, strength, workability, transmittance, U value, recycling property, transparency. As you can know, transparency can be two ways, like single sided or double sided. Single sided means on one side it will be it will be visible as a mirror from, but from the other side it will be a transparent material. Double sided, in both the ways it will be a transparent material. So transparency is one of the property. Because of the transparency only, we'll be using it for this, for suppose when you have some balconies etc., there you can make use of this glass doors because of the transparency, so that the view will be visible to you. And strength, glass is actually stronger when you do some process like tempering or lamination etc., then you can acquire glass of higher strength than other construction materials. And workability, what do you understand by workability? You would have seen this term earlier in concrete. Workability means ease to ease to mold into any shape. So glass is a flexible material, so workability will be more in case of glass. Transmittance, what do you understand by this transmittance? Light, transmittance of light. Like if you go for glass buildings, then the transmittancy will be high. Like in the daylight will get transmitted more through this glass, so that the use of electric appliances will be reduced, like electrical appliances such as this tube lights, bulbs etc., will be reduced. And u value is nothing but the heat emittance. Like even when you use it, like even like the this transparency property, if you need the transparency property also, then you would be having another requirement, such that it should not heat up the building so much. It should not heat up the building so much. So when you have lesser u value, it implies that heat transmittance will be lesser. This is another important factor which we have to consider when you are using it as a construction material. And recycling property, obviously glass can be recyclable. So these are some of the important engineering properties of the glass. And there are different types of glass based on the for suppose you know that glass is a brittle material, but when you want to use it as a construction material, this brittle nature, you have to overcome this brittle nature. So in order to overcome this brittle nature, what we'll be doing is addition of some chemicals or admixtures can make the ductile or stronger so based on the types of glass are classified based on the composition, based on its composition, and based on the process, like in order to change it from brittle to stronger material. There you will also like the glass will have to undergo some different process. Based on that, the types of glass has been originated. Like what are the types are: float glass, shatterproof glass, laminated glass, extra clean glass, chromatic glass, tinted glass, toughened glass, glass blocks, glass wool, and insulated glazed units. Depending on the purpose, you can go for different types of the glasses. And here are some of the questions like related to this. Basically I think you would have already solved these questions, but based on the based on these questions, I can also share you with some content. That's why I have taken the questions again from the assignment problem. So the first question is match the following materials with their failure mechanisms. This is what we have read in the first part of this course, like from the first week to the third week. Now we have seen different failure mechanisms. Okay, so based on that, you'll be able to answer this question. Glass, metal, and polymers. These are the materials they have mentioned, and what is the failure mechanism? Okay, so as we just now we have mentioned glass as a brittle material, right? So glass, the failure mechanism in glass will be brittle failure. And metals, you would have seen, like we already studied about the failure mechanisms in steel, which is nothing but a metal, and it is a ductile material. So there you can see this yielding in metals. In polymers, this is hello. Anybody wants to say something? See, so the option here is for A it is 2, for B it is 3, and for C it is 1. So the answer for this question is B. That means for metal it is yielding, and for glass it is brittle, and for polymers it is crazing. See, glass envelope provides increased carpet area than a concrete facade. Is it true or false? Just now I have discussed about this. In case of glass, the carpet area will be lesser, like you can save the carpet area, lesser wastage, suppose, or the carpet area will be more in case of glass when compared to this concrete facade. Lesser carpet area. Okay, so the answer for this question is true. Glass envelope provides increased carpet area than a concrete facade. And for every type of building material we have some Indian standard specifications. So for this particular material, like the IS code and part which addresses the use of glass in building and the safety related to human impact, is IS 16231. This is the Indian standard code which addresses the use of glass in building and the safety related to human impact. This is the IS code which pertains to the usage of glass in buildings. So this is the question based on one of the process which the glass will undergo based on the purpose which it needs to be served. So the typical process which the normal glass undergoes, in making of your mobile phone screen card. What is the main purpose of this mobile phone screen card? Like resistance from scratches. That means it should be hard enough. Hardness will be more. This is one point. Another point is U value should be less. That means it should not absorb much heat from the outside temperature, and it should be stronger. Yeah, someone already answered it. Yeah, that's correct. But let me explain you.
Tempering is answered.
Yeah, what do you mean by tempering then? Can you explain the process? Hello. Okay, it should be stronger and thermal resistant. I'll explain you the tempering process now. So these are the qualities which it needs to be fulfilled when you want to use it as a phone screen card. And another important thing is, it should for suppose when the screen card breaks, you would have observed this earlier. When the screen card breaks, it will not break as for suppose if you have a glass, if you have some glass tumbler in your hand and if you drop it on the floor, it will shatter into pieces and those pieces will be harmful to us. But when the screen card when the screen card breaks down, you cannot see the pieces of glass, and the it will be having finest particles. When it breaks, you can see it as a finest particles. That means there are small particles will be visible, which are harmless. So in order to achieve all these properties, the process which the gas will be going through is the tempering process. Tempering is nothing but, first, in the tempering process, how the step by step process is. First thing, you will cut the glass into required shape, because after the tempering you can't cut the glass into the required shape. So before tempering, the glass will be cut into the required shape, and it will be cleaned off any surface, any dirt particles or scratches or something. So it will be clean, because if you have any damages before this tempering process, during the tempering process it will break down into pieces. So you should make sure that the glass does not have any undulations or any surface irregularities when you go for this tempering process. So when you smoothen the surface, after that it will be heated at some temperature. Okay, after heating it, it will be cooled down by blasting air onto the surface. It will be cooled down by blasting air onto the surface. Okay, and while cooling it down, what will happen is, at the edges the cooling will be faster. At the edges the cooling will be faster than at the center. So because of this, what will happen is, at the inner surface, the particles will be under tension, and at the outer surface the particles will be in compression. So because of this, it will not shatter into pieces. Instead, it will shatter into some fine particles which are harmless. This is known as tempering process. So the typical process which the normal glass undergoes in the making of your mobile phone screen card is tempering. Okay, so the next question will also be based on the same thing. You will be able to answer it. So the processing technique during the manufacturing of mobile phone screen card makes the glass. What is the processing technique here? That's what we have discussed now, that is tempering. The processing technique is tempering is a processing technique. So by this process, through this tempering process, what we are achieving, like manufacturing of mobile phone screen card makes the glass. What does the tempering does to this glass? It will make the glass stronger and thermal resistant. Okay, so this is the purpose of tempering. So I have only taken some of the questions from the assignment problem, so that some concepts will be revised. I think there is nothing much related to this glass, because it is an evolving construction material. And there will like if you have to go into the very details of this, it will be an a different, like an extensive material which we need to be studied. In this particular course there is just an overview of the glass, like how it can be used as a construction material, like what is the purpose of, like what are the properties because of which the glass is chosen as a construction material, and what are the different types of glasses, and what are the different processes through which you can make the glass serve different purposes. So if you have any doubts related to this, you can ask now, and I'll show you the so that okay, we'll have a glance into this assignment problems, overall glance. Okay, we have already discussed the first question, match the following materials with their failure mechanisms. So we have already seen this. And another question is, read the two statements below and choose the correct option. So what are the statements here? A piece of quartz crystal can make a scratch mark on glass. So this is the assertion. And what is the reason for this assertion? Quartz has higher hardness than glass. Okay, now we'll keep apart this quartz. Okay, we'll keep apart this quartz. And what is the criteria for, suppose if you take glass and if you want to make a scratch on the glass by using some other material, some X material, what should be the criteria for it to make a scratch on the glass? It should be hard enough than the glass. It should be hard enough than the glass to make an indentation on the surface of the glass. That means the hardness should be more. The hardness of the material which you have chosen to do the indentation or to do the scratch mark on a glass should be, the high hardness should be higher. So if you say, if the assertion is a piece of quartz crystal can make a scratch mark on a glass, then the reason should be that the quartz should have a higher hardness than the glass, then only it will be possible. Then only it will be possible. So quartz has higher hardness than the glass, so the quartz crystal can make a scratch on glass. So now the assertion and reason are correct, and reason is the correct explanation for assertion, right? Because it is hard enough to make a scratch on the glass. That is the reason, and it is an apt explanation for the assertion point. Okay, and this we have already seen. Glass envelope provides an increased carpet area than a concrete facade. What is the main reason behind this? Because it will have lesser thickness than the, for suppose if you compare it with concrete, the structural elements will have lesser thickness than the concrete, right? So glass envelope obviously will provide an increased carpet area than a concrete facade. And this we have seen, right? The typical process which the normal glass undergoes in the making of your mobile phone screen guard is tempering. That is tempering process. Okay, and this also we have seen, like the processing technique, that means the tempering process used during the manufacturing of mobile phone screen card makes the glass stronger and thermal resistant. Stronger and thermal resistant. And we have seen different types of glass. In that we have seen this chromatic glass. So the purpose of that is, like the type of glass which can function based on the climatic condition. Based on the climatic condition is nothing but the electrochromatic glass. Based on the climatic conditions means based on the temperature over there, based on the highest temperature over there, the type of glass which can function based on the climatic conditions is electrochromic glass. Electrochromic glass. And the IS coded part which addresses the use of glass in building and safety related to human impact is IS 16231. Okay. And this question, this glass fiber reinforced concrete, aramid fiber reinforced polymer, steel fiber reinforced concrete. So if you can see this C material like steel fiber reinforced concrete, steel fiber reinforced concrete, the problem associated with the steel fiber reinforced concrete is, what is the problem associated with this? Because of the presence of steel fiber, there will be metallic corrosion. There will be metallic corrosion in this steel fiber reinforced concrete. And for suppose if you take this glass fiber reinforced concrete, there will be a problem of chemical degradation. Chemical degradation if you can't provide the proper environmental condition over there, it will go for this chemical degradation. So aramid fiber reinforced polymer, this is also one type of fiber. So aramid fiber reinforced polymer, in that case you can see one type of like degradation mechanism known as Kevlar. Okay, these are the assignment problems related to this glass as a construction material, and this is the final lecture for this basic course on construction materials. Okay, so hereafter we won't be having any this discussion classes. So if you have any queries related to this overall content of the course, like from week 1 to week 12, you can feel free to ask now. Any queries? Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am. No query.
Okay. So, do you have any queries?
No, ma'am.
Okay, everything is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you don't have any queries, I think I'll wind up the session. So, if you have any queries, please let me know.
No, ma'am. Everything is clear.
Okay, then. Okay, thank you. Like, if you are gonna take the exam on this course, all the very best. So, do well in the exam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, then.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So, thank you for listening.
Thank
Okay,
you so much.
I'll wind up the session for today.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.